Welcome to Disney's Hall of Presidents. Nah, it's just me. Hello, guys. I'm back with another podcast, finally. I've been putting this thing off for like over a month. Mostly because I wanted to do something special, like have a guest, like my friend Jade. But, we changed our minds and when I was visiting her for a vacation. And we decided to do a vlog instead. So that's why I'm doing this podcast now, because I'm overdue for episode 3 in this JFM podcast. I don't know what to call this podcast. I'm still calling this the JFM podcast. It really shouldn't be about me. It should be about Jeff and Taylor. But I'm looking at the agenda. I'm looking at my list today, and I'm just gonna let you guys know that not a lot of Jeff and Taylor stuff will be discussed in this. It'll just mostly be talking about my vacation, and then I'll talk about some non-canon Jeff and Taylor stories, and my old Pokemon series, and other things about my past. So yeah. All right, lots of ground to cover. Well, now that I'm done with the intro, guess it's the next thing on my list: the weather. The weather report. The weather here in my hometown is getting colder. Fall is arriving, and pretty soon we'll have snow in the ground. I'm betting we'll have the first snowfall around October 13th. No, on October 13th. That's my bet. Who am I betting against? I don't know. I'm betting against the people who's living inside my brain. I don't know. It's very complex to tell you that inside joke. But yeah, the weather here is rainy a lot. It's raining, and it's cloudy right now. It's looking beautiful. I don't know about you, but I love cloudy days and rain. I just prefer that over bright, hot, sunny days, because you can't see a thing when it's sunny. The sun is in your eyes. I guess this is why I'm more comfortable driving at night, because the sun is not up. Well. Oh well, to each his own, right? Okay, now that the weather is done, I am going to talk about episode 9, how that's going up. It's probably going to be uploaded sometime this decade. But yeah, I'm working on it now. Don't worry. I'm working on it, and just to let you guys know, episode 9 is, it has a pretty dark story to it, so I'm hoping I'll at least have a fan shed a tear when reading that episode. But don't worry, I'm not going Tim Buckley on you. If you don't know that, I'm really afraid to add some dramatic stuff in J&T, because I don't want to pull a Tim Buckley. He's the creator of Control Alt Delete, and what he did with his webcomic is that out of nowhere he made his one of his main character's girlfriend gets pregnant, and then she has a miscarriage. And then people just slammed him for that, because that is not what the comic is intended for. It's supposed to be a buddy it's like not really a buddy comic, but more of a comedy video game related comic, But yeah, I guess it's the reason why it had nothing to do with video games. That's why it was so hated, that one strip. But now he completely rebooted his Control Delete series into and now the 4 players are the main characters, which I believe is more appropriate than that man-child Ethan. You know what I mean? Well, people keep saying shit about. Sorry for the language.
Watch your mouth, young man.
I'm sorry, Robin Williams. I'm sorry. But yeah, people keep talking crap about Tim Buckley and Tom Preston, which, I can get. I really don't care much for Tim Buckley, but why the hate for Tom Preston, Leave the guy alone. He's changed, I'm sure. He's getting better. Anyway. Okay, I gotta keep talking about episode 9. Well, episode 9 is about Ghost Girl. I won't say much, but yeah. And I've been noticing I'm getting a lot of comments asking when episode 9 will be out and all that. I honestly don't know. I don't want to give a scheduled release date because I never make it. So, but I'm just letting you guys know that I am working on it. I'm focusing on it. I'm not working on any single works. I'm not gonna upload anything on DeviantArt for a while. So yeah, that's because I'm working on it now. I mean, the only thing I worked on in between that's not related to the comics is the very image you're looking at now, the podcast image, which is very interesting. It's just something quick. I just whipped it up very quickly, so it wouldn't waste any time. That's Jade in the middle with her blonde hair and pink highlight. Well, yeah, it's and in relating to the comments about episode 9, I got a really rude comment on DeviantArt. You know, this isn't the reason why I wanted to focus on the comic, but this guy wrote to me, "Quit jerking off to your cartoons and continue on episode 9, dude." And I read that and I was like, what? How in the world can you just write this? You know, I know it had to do. He wrote it on my one journal explaining that I keep drawing cheesecake stuff, but that's not what I do. But and I am cutting back on that stuff. But yeah, I don't know why people. It's the anonymous thing in the internet, you know. Just because people can't see you or don't know who you are, you think you can write whatever you want. But geez, we gotta have some respect, people.
I get no respect.
This is the same guy who called me lazy last year on DeviantArt, and I remember he keeps telling me these very weird suggestions that I should do in my comic, like change Jeff's hat to blue. No, I won't do that. Jeff's hat is white for a reason. And also he keeps asking me these silly questions about my characters, like, is Jeff a virgin? Yeah, he's 14 years old. He is. It's a no-brainer. Well, yeah, but yeah, I'm getting pretty annoyed by that guy. Unless I get a apology from him, then I'll keep a lookout for him. I don't know. Well, on to the vacation story. If you guys hadn't known, I took a week off from work and drawing to visit my best friend Jade in her hometown, in her home state of Idaho. And I had a really great time there. You know, the whole reason there is the whole reason why I took a vacation was to hang out with her, because I haven't seen her in over a year. And what did we do? Well, I remember we watched some TV. We watched a lot of Netflix. I remember we watched the Aristocats, that classic Disney movie. Then we watched a few episodes of Archer. You know, she introduced me to Archer. That's a funny show. Then we watched what else? We watched some Red Supre stuff. I introduced her to Red Supre and showed her some of my favorite videos from them. And she liked it. I knew she'd like it because you know, she is kind of like the same thing as Red Supre. You know, she likes to commentate over movies and video games and just make her own little funny stories. I'll get to that in a minute. We also watched a little bit of American Horror Story. I never heard of that show, but well, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. But it's very entertaining. You know, I'm not really into the horror genre, but it's, you know, it's quite interesting to see a TV series all violent and gory. And on the last day, I remember we watched an old movie made in 1998. It's called Can't Hardly Wait. I remember it has Seth Green in it and Jennifer Love Hewitt. Those are the only big names I remember. But it's your typical teen comedy. And I liked it. I want to buy the DVD or actually see it on Netflix. I have Netflix now. I mean, I keep forgetting that I have Netflix, and I'm paying money every month. I have to get into that more, but I'm not used to it. What else? We looked at each other's artwork, And I looked at her artwork. I see the huge progression with her work. All the way from high school to now. She has improved a lot. She also looked at mine and made up stories about my characters and all that. Like, she has inside jokes with my J&T characters. Like what? Jane cheating on Jeff or Taylor, and making fun of Jennifer. She's the butt of the joke. She keeps giving Jeff a hard time. Like, the poor guy has this bad luck in her version of Jeff and Taylor. But yeah, like I said, we vlogged instead of doing a podcast. You can view that vlog in my other channel, JFM Studio. Whoops, sorry, sorry, my little pop filter is. I don't know. If you hear some popping sounds, that's just me banging on something. Well, I'm banging on the pop filter. Maybe you heard that. I don't know. But I'm trying to stand still, but I can't. I just keep playing with the pop filter, and then you probably hear it. And yeah, we had a very good vlog. It's long. I edited a lot of stuff out because we just talked about some inappropriate things. I don't want to share that with the world. But yeah, I have the whole uncut version, to myself. And I just noticed now, but I feel like a huge jerk, because I didn't promote her book or anything in that vlog. Let me pull up the. She gave me a PDF of her book. I'm starting to read it now. I'm a couple chapters in. But her book is Internal Flame. It's a series. It's a fantasy series. And it stars... let me open it up. Okay. It's the first book from her series, Consecration, yeah. Jade Santos, Internal Flame, Consecration. Yeah. That's the name of the book, and it's the first book of the Eternal Flame series. And I just noticed I'm looking right at her splash page or something, but the font that she uses for her name is the same font that I used when I drew her in that one drawing for her birthday. I don't know if that's a huge coincidence or something, but if it is, it's perfect. That's officially her font. So yeah, Jade is an author. I should have said that. She makes a lot of books. That isn't the only book she makes. That's just her first one and her main one. And that's probably the one she's best known for. But I think, personally, she's best known for her work, a little comic strip, Retarded Penguin. I just remembered this one. This one animation she did of Retarded Penguin, and he's just skipping along this one sidewalk while intense music was playing. I just remember that in video class, and I just keep chuckling on it. Oh, jeez. Okay. Oh, another big thing that happened while I was in Idaho is that Jade taught me how to drive a stick shift. That's right, I don't know how to drive a stick shift. My car is automatic. So yeah, I never learned how, but I guess I did good. I did a good job. I only killed the engine 3 times. Yeah, that's it. I guess it's kind of easy for me since I already knew how to drive a car. She said it was harder for her, but that was when she was like 16 or something, because she was learning how to drive in general. But yeah, I'm not perfect at it, so I'm not gonna buy a stick shift anytime soon. And yeah, I also met her family. Her family, I gotta say, is really cool. I love them. They're into cars and angels. Their houses are really nice. They're into the same shows that my parents like. So yeah, her family kind of reminds me of my family a little bit. So there you have it. That's pretty much Idaho in a nutshell. I didn't want to leave. I remember when her hometown is actually like over maybe 120 miles away from Boise. That's where the airport is. So we drove like 2 hours from the airport to her hometown, and then 2 hours back from her hometown to the airport when I had to leave. And I didn't want to leave. I just wasn't ready, you know. But all good things have to come to an end. I mean, I have to continue drawing, right? Then I got reminded why I hate my job. But jeez. Oh yeah, I just gotta. I'm looking at my notes now. Movies I watched while I was there. Okay, one day when on Wednesday, I think, Jade had to work, so she just left me alone in her house. And so I just decided, hey, I'm just gonna watch some Netflix, see what movies I want to watch, and lo and behold, The Avengers is there. And I've never watched The Avengers before. So I watched it for the first time. And it's an amazing movie. I love it. Iron Man is hilarious. Yeah. I won't spoil anything, but things just kind of upset me when certain people get offed in that movie, you know? But oh well. Stupid Loki.
How dare you!
And then after that was over, I didn't know what else to watch, so I just I just watched some random episodes of The L Word, which is like a little lesbian drama series that played on Showtime. You know, that's it. It's just it's basically just a drama series. That's it. So, and then another movie that I watched from the airplane coming back from Boise all the way to no, from Seattle to Fairbanks. I watched The Dark Knight Rises for the first time. I don't know why it took me so long to actually watch that movie, but I finally did. I love Bane's voice. He sounds so awesome. Kind of reminds me of Morpheus in a way, if he wore a gas mask or something. So, but the bad thing is, I didn't get to watch the last 10 or 15 minutes of the movie because since the movie was long, it was like 3 hours long, and the flight was only like 3 hours. That I had to return it. I had to return the little player thing that had the movie in it. So I didn't watch the last 10 minutes. I won't spoil anything, but I don't think this is spoilers, but the part that I remembered last was when Batman was riding his jet thing. Then he was dodging missiles, and then the missiles hit the enemy's tank. That's it. That's not spoiling anything. But yeah, that's upsetting. It's very upsetting because I just hate that. Why do they include movies that last more than the plane ride itself? Well, yeah, I don't like airports, airplanes. They're sickening. I hate the smell of all those people all around. I gotta say, when I was about ready to leave as soon as I landed in Fairbanks, because I was sick of people's ugly faces. I was sick of all the old people all sitting there. Because I could have sworn from the flight from Seattle to Fairbanks, I was like probably the youngest guy there. I was the youngest guy there. And all these old people, because Fairbanks is an old people haven. Retirement and all that. So stupid. I don't know why I'm living here. I should move back to Washington or something. But I don't know. I don't know what the future has in hold for me. But yeah, I gotta say, when I was trying to get my bag from the carousel thing, I was impatient. I was standing behind the yellow line because that's what it said in the sign. Stand behind the yellow line for safety. And I did. But no, all these people that were in the same flat as me gathered around me. I mean, there's a lot of space, people. You don't have to gather around me. I claimed the spot. But no, people started to gather in front of me too, in front of the yellow line, ignoring that warning sign. I hate it when people ignore the signs, you know. It's just like driving. Am I the only one here that that flashes his blinkers. I'm also the only guy who doesn't change lanes in the middle of an intersection. Not to mention when I see a road construction sign that says left lane will end, as soon as I see that sign, I immediately merge to the right lane. But no, there I see idiots changing lanes in the very last second. Why do they do that? that reminds me. Driving with Jade is very funny. You know, her mild road rage is hilarious. Like one time, she just called a person butthole for no reason, and then I saw the person driving, and then I just imagined there's a butthole. God. Okay. It's weird. It's weird for me saying that because that's not really it's not really my sense of humor, but yeah, but for Jade is perfect. That's her sense of humor. But yeah, continuing on the airport story, as soon as my bag came, I was ready to grab it, but no, this old dude decided to cut in front of me and grab his stupid shit. Sorry for the language again, but still, I just got so angry. And then I struggled to get my bag and then get the hell out of there quickly as possible. But no, I see all these frat boys with all their junk gathering outside the terminal. It's like, oh, dude, get our shit. We're gonna leave this town. Woo! Fairbanks, Alaska. I gotta edit that out.
Y'all trifling, man.
Left the airport for good. I won't go to the airport again until March when I go down to Seattle for Comic-Con. Which reminds me. Well, apparently I'm not gonna get my own table at the Comic-Con for some reason. I don't know. I sent in an application and everything. The little the woman who was in charge of the whole event, sent me an email saying that cool, we got your application and I'll give you your status on Monday. That message was sent like 2 months ago. Okay, so she hasn't responded at all, and I kept checking on the Artist Alley list, and I'm not there. So I'm gonna say, guys, I'm not gonna be at I'm not gonna have my own table at the Emerald City Comic Con, but I will be there as a guest or as a spectator. So yeah, if you live around the Seattle area or live in Washington and want to go on the Seattle Comic Con and around March, then be sure to find me or something. I'm like Waldo. You gotta find me. I won't dress up like Waldo or else. I don't know. It'd be cool to cosplay as Waldo. I do look like him. But yeah. It's funny. I see old cartoons of Waldo and all I keep seeing is Jeff Jefferson dressed as Waldo because he looks just like him a little bit. If he grew his hair out and have like a little simple nose, and yeah, that's Jeff Jefferson dressed as Waldo. Maybe that's his career in the future. Oh well. Anyway, now that the vacation thing has ended, I'm just here in Fairbanks, Alaska again. What else? I'm looking at my list right now. What am I gonna say? New style. Oh yeah. Well, actually, whoops. Rewind. I did not mean to say that. I meant to say new technique, not new style. With my comics, because I had with episode 10 on its way. Actually, I gotta work on episode 9, but with episode 10 creeping up to us, I gotta think of a new way to color actually draw my comics now, or at least main episodes, because it's a toss-up between my fully shaded technique or my simple shaded technique, like what you see in the quickies. And I personally like my full shaded technique. The characters look nice and the backgrounds go well with it. I might as well whip up the second page of the G Station, a little remake, and let you guys decide which looks good, the simple shade or the full shade. So there you have it. Even though I'm personally leaning towards full shade, I just want to go with what's right for the comic, I guess. Okay, now we get to the good stuff. Non-canon shite. Okay, you've been noticing on my Jeff and Taylor channel, or not my Jeff and Taylor channel, but on my DeviantArt, I have some pictures up of my characters dressed in funny clothes and doing stuff that they wouldn't normally do. That's called non-canon. That's stuff that's not in the comic, but I just want to experiment and have fun with my characters. If you want to see the real Jeff and Taylor storyline, the actual canon stuff, then it's in the website, the Jeff and Taylor website. Everything that's canonical is on the Jeff and Taylor website. The quickies, the episodes, the gallery, the images, you know. That's canon. But I do have some non-canon stories in my head with my J&T characters. I mean, they're really crazy, but here's one. I've been thinking of doing like a little scary story with Jeff and Taylor characters, like a little horror thing. And it has to do with the flesh-eating virus, you know, inspired by the movie Cabin Fever.
Pancakes! Pancakes!
That's a genre that needs to be, more emphasized, or something. That needs to be a genre, flesh-eating virus trope or something like that. Because you see all these zombie movies and vampire movies, so you don't see any flesh-eating virus or movies, because that has to be a thing now. You know, I mean, we have so many zombies that there has to be another scary thing, you know. So in my little story, I'm just thinking about, there's this, there's a virus that's spreading in Somerville, and then all your favorite characters get the virus, and then their skin slowly peels apart, rots off, or they bleed to death in unusual ways. Yeah, like let's say Taylor is like checking his skin out, checking out his skin, and then he accidentally pulls out his ear. His ear comes off, and then he panics. Then he dies. And then I remember, like, what I'm thinking. I thought it would be really neat if Blue were to go crazy as she sees her flesh being melted and eaten alive by this virus, and then she gets run over by a bus. Just copying right off of Cabin Fever 2.
Water here is bullshit.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there are some characters that I do not want to kill, like or I do not want to touch at all, like Cindy. She's actually based on my real life sister, and I don't want to hurt her in any way. So Cindy is immune to that, immune to the virus. Yeah. Who else? Yeah, that's it. All the other characters can die. I don't care. Which is sad, because I know some of the characters are based off of my friends. But it's not like I hate them or anything. It's just, I may not include them into this little horror story. But yeah, another non-canon story that I would love to do is a little Grand Theft Auto parody. It's like you see all your favorite J&T characters doing crime and doing bad stuff. I actually made Grand Theft Auto parodies of Jeff and Taylor characters. I actually made the little covers. You may have seen it in DeviantArt. Grand Theft Auto stuff. Like, I remember the first GTA parody, Grand Theft Auto Somerville, that's what it's called. It's like Jeff and Taylor are like these vigilantes. They own guns and everything, and they shoot up bad guys. They steal cars, make drug deals. Jeff is going out with Jane in that storyline, and Jane's a little cocaine addict. Ashley's the bad guy. She's like doing something, and then she's walking around in the beach with her skimpy bikini, shooting people or something like that. She must run a little drug thing. David is doing is making a living, doing these hit and runs. You know, he's a hitman. That's what I mean. Yeah, David's a hitman. Robin owns a casino. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, and there's an explosion there too. Can't go wrong with explosions. So, and then in the sequel, Grand Theft Auto Somerville 2, DJ is the main antagonist. Lily is his little servant, I should say. And he has Jane captive. There's a helicopter there. Jeff and Taylor go on a boat, shoot up some people, shoot up DJ's minions, or his followers. Sarah is there too, with short hair, as vigilantes too. You know, she's helping J&T. Holly's there, and in Sarah's little gang. Cassidy is there too, but I imagine Cassidy gets killed by a sniper. Bullet in the head. That's how she dies. I think David dies too. Oh, sorry, the hitman dies. What else? Oh, and Blue is a very crazy looking punk girl with piercings all over her and tattoos. Oh, she does a lot of drugs, man. I don't know. What else happens in that story? I don't know. Okay, onto Somerville 3. Let's see. Captain Starla is the main antagonist. Jane quit her cocaine addiction, and so she's hanging out with strippers and prostitutes. Jennifer and Chris are prostitutes, and Jane's hanging out with them. Jeff has his DNA taken, and then at the very end, they clone him. They clone Jeff into a female. So the very last bad guy is actually Jenny. Then there's a little car chase that happens, and I think that's it. I mean, I don't have the images with me, so I can't think. I may make a little extra drawing. Grand Theft Auto Somerville 4. Just to celebrate Grand Theft Auto 5 coming out, which I'm waiting for on that. That'll be, I'll be pretty occupied with that game for a couple weeks. So yeah, and the last thing I want to talk about more morbid and horror stories involving J&T. Actually, my coworker Paul, he's into morbid stuff too. And he knows about my Jeff and Taylor stuff. So I asked him, say, Paul, if you ever have a little horror parody that you want me to read on a Halloween special of Jeff and Taylor, then just let me know. Then he's been thinking of ideas. He told me, what happens if Jeff and Taylor characters were to be in a little Saw parody, it's like Jeff and Taylor are in a trap, and they try to get out, but they have to like cut off their hand or something like that, just like in Saw. And I'm like, man, that would be very interesting. Paul said he would use Jeff, Taylor, and Jane. That would be very interesting if Jeff were to see Jane like torturing herself in order to get out of a trap. That'll be very sad, but very interesting. I don't know. And that leads me to my last thing, my last non-canon thing with my Jeff and Taylor characters. A little adult drama. Now, it's not porn or anything, but that's what it is. It's adult drama. This happens in the future. Like Jeff and Taylor are like 24 years old. It's like, I imagine, this is my own little story, but I imagine what happens if Jeff and Jane were to it's like they're fiancés, they're engaged, but Jane cheats on Jeff. She has an affair with Taylor, and then Jeff finds out. She gets pregnant by Taylor.
What a concept!
And so they break up. She lives with Taylor. And then Jeff is all alone. But then he actually has a new girlfriend, Blue. He goes out with Blue, and then he makes love to her, and all that. So yeah, then Jane breaks up with Taylor and starts being a little floozy with the other guys. That's all I can think of. But then maybe at the very end, Jeff and Jane get back together, because that's how I am. I like happy endings. You know, all this crazy stuff that's happening in the middle, and then a happy ending. Next, let's talk about Pokemon. Pokemon with the Pokey and the Mon. Okay, I've been getting into Pokemon a little bit. Right now I'm replaying my blue version for the very last time. I'm starting over, I'm training my Pokemon up and actually catching all 150 for the first time. And I'm training my team up to level 70 so I can actually fight Jade in a real competition. 'Cause her Charizard is at level 70. Can you believe it? And I can't beat her because my Pokemon were at level 50 at the time. So I don't know. So next time I see her, my Pokemon will be roaring and ready to go. And I'll have a great team. Okay, so yeah, about Pokemon. Let's see here. My old Pokemon story. Back when I first created Jeff. That's who he was. He was a Pokemon trainer. And I ought to tell you a little summary of my own little Pokemon series. A long time ago, when I was in 4th grade, I was really into Pokemon. But I hated Ash for some reason. I just got really jealous of his thing. So I'm like, I can make a better story than this, My character Jeff can be a much better Pokemon trainer than Ash. I mean, jeez. And, looking back, the stories that I had, the episodes, they were terrible. They're very terrible. Like, I remember the first episode had Jeff, getting ready to be on his little Pokemon journey in Pallet Town. So he visits Professor Oak. His rival David is there too. Jeff picks a Squirtle, which the Squirtle was a bit defiant, just like Pikachu was with Ash. And then Jeff and David fought. Squirtle won. And so yeah. And then after that, Jeff went off to the field, in like all the way up to Viridian City. But then he got attacked by 2 Nidorans, Nidoran boy and Nidoran girl, which is pretty weird. Why would he get attacked by these 2 Pokemon? And then Squirtle wouldn't help. He just whatever, dude. Squirtle just runs away and then comes back to help Jeff. And then he weakened both Nidorans, and then Jeff caught them both. So Jeff now has a Squirtle, a Nidoran boy, and a Nidoran girl. Then after that, he went to the Viridian Forest, and then went to Pewter City, fought Brock, lost, and then came back again. Actually, the reason why he lost to Brock at first was because Squirtle got sick. And then he's like, oh well, might as well. Yeah, forget Squirtle. I'm just gonna keep going. And then he's like, I might as well use Nidoran boy. He didn't give any nicknames to his Pokemon, but I might as well give Nidoran boy a little shot at Brock's Onyx. So he lost. That's why he lost. So then Squirtle got better. And then Jeff won. He won the Boulder Badge. And then he went to Route 4. Fought a bunch of trainers. Squirtle evolved into a War Turtle. Then off to Mount Moon. Actually, before that... Oh, excuse me. Before Mount Moon, Jeff bought a Magikarp from a man. That one guy who sells you that Magikarp for $500, which is, I don't care. I don't care about money. I'll just buy the Magikarp and train it to evolve into a Gyarados. That's what Jeff thought. Jeff actually knew about the whole Magikarp Gyarados thing. You know, it's very broken. It's very cheesy and so predictable. But then again, it was, you know, very endearing to think about it now. I I kick myself just because I threw away the books. I threw them away. I don't know why. Why did I throw them away? Why? But you know, I still remember these. So after Mount Moon, Jeff caught a little Bellsprout, used the Bellsprout to defeat Misty. Oh, on Mount Moon, he actually met the Team Rocket members, Fagin and Frank, which is actually Rocky and Frank from Team Starhammer, but you know they were originally Team Rocket members, and this was when Rocky was first named Fagin. Very weird name, you know, just like Jesse and James with Ash. You know, two Team Rocket members who have J in their name. Well, I have Rocket members on Jeff's story with F in their name. You know, Fagin and Frank. So I can't think of another boy name that starts with an F. You know, Fernando, Fred, Frederick. You know, same thing. But I just like the name Fagin. Got it from Oliver and Company. So, what else? Jeff visited Bill, and then he got the SS ticket, went all the way to Vermilion City, got on the SS Anne, got the HM1, taught Cut to one of his Pokemon. Oh yeah, and then his Nidoran boy and his Nidorans evolved, and then Jeff was about to fight Lieutenant Surge, and then I just stopped. That's the end of the whole series. I guess before fighting Lieutenant Surge, Jeff just quit. He's like, well, forget this. I'm going back to Pallet Town. So yeah, that actually spawned my little quote-unquote movie of the Pokemon. I named it Pokemon the Third Movie. That was my little book, a little 60-page book. But it was stupid, because thinking back, because it has nothing to do with Pokemon. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna make a better movie than this Pokemon 2000. I just wrote it down, but it didn't even have a Pokemon match. It just had Jeff, you know, riding on his Articuno. Yeah, he actually caught an Articuno in the whole story. Now that I think about it, a legendary Pokemon in his team. That's so stupid. But yeah, he did use his Nidoking once to defeat a Digimon of all people, of all things. So yeah, but the whole story was very stupid. They were, it's like Jeff and Jesse and James were on a stupid adventure for no reason. It's like first they went to a little aqueduct. No, swam through the aqueduct, and then they landed in the city with Sesame Street puppets. And then after that, they went to the Rocky Mountains, took a train to this random bad guy's lair, and then Jeff used his Nidoking to defeat the bad guy's Digimon character, and then yeah, the guy chased them down with his car, and then the guy got ran over by a train. So there you have it. There's the Pokemon movie. Gosh. But it was the very first time I actually drew Jeff in my Tooname style. Because back then I just drew stick figures. But this is the first time I drew Jeff. So there you have it. Okay. That's the old Pokemon story. Someday I might revamp it or renew it. Excuse me. Maybe. I may make a little Pokemon parody, not using any of the old settings, but I'll probably use my own original setting. I'll use my own gym leaders and use my own Elite Four. That would be interesting. Maybe use my own Pokemon, or who knows. I may use familiar Pokemon for generation 1 through 5, you know. Speaking of which, I am gonna buy Pokemon X. No, Pokemon Y. I think I'm gonna buy Pokemon Y when it comes out. I mean, I might as well give the new Pokemon a chance, you know. It wouldn't hurt. So yeah. If it wasn't for Pokemon, I wouldn't have never become a cartoonist, you know. And and the style you see now, you know, you would never have seen it because my style is heavily influenced on the Pokemon style. So, yeah. Okay, on to stuff that I used to be scared of as a kid. Jade told you on our little vlog that she used to be scared of the Sesame Street moon. That dun-na-na-na-na-na when it's shaking your head at you. She was like a little kid. But, you know, that little thing, she used to creep her out or scare her. So, you know, she told that story to the world. So I'm going to tell the world some of the things that I used to be scared of as a kid. And, you know, these are video game related things, so, yeah. Okay. The first thing that I used to be very scared of as a kid. My sister had a Commodore 64, and one of the games that she had was Ghostbusters. The original Ghostbusters. And it's just the thing that scared me was the Ghostbusters theme.
Ghostbusters!
And then from there it gets pretty lighthearted, but still, it used to scare me. I could have sworn that during the long loading times, it's like the Commodore would just get quiet, you know, loading the game. Then all of a sudden you hear that used to scare me. I mean, I don't remember the laugh or anything. It had to be there, but I just don't remember it. And I guess the ghost logo used to scare me too. I mean, the cute little ghost trapped in that thing. Yeah, it used to scare me, but not anymore. Okay, the next thing that used to scare me. You guys are gonna think I'm a total wuss, but okay. When I was on my 11th birthday, I got a PlayStation 1, and the thing that's kind of creeped me out at first, or kind of scared me, every time I turned on the PlayStation 1, I had to leave the room because I was scared of the little boot up intro thing. Right now, that sound is awesome, and it's pure nostalgia fuel, but I used to be so scared of that because, you know, I don't know why. It's because it kind of sounds like the PlayStation is warning me of the dangers ahead with that sound effect. Not anymore, you know, I love that sound. Okay, next thing that I used to be scared of, that's video game related, when I was a kid. Super Mario World, Bowser's clown car. You know, that clown car, but when it just zooms in, or at least flies towards you, towards the camera, that used to scare me. That stupid clown car. So, yeah, there you have it. And the last thing that used to scare me as a kid, that's video game related, was Goro on Mortal Kombat. I just hated his screams and his growls. So every time I got to Goro, I had to lower the volume or put it to mute so I wouldn't hear him. And I had the Super Nintendo version too, and in that it had Goro just yell, and you know, in the intro, just smashing the Acclaim logo. But he would just scream, and I had to leave the room or put it on mute. And that's it. That's what I used to be scared of as a kid. So Jade, if you're listening to this, don't feel bad about the whole moon thing. I mean, I used to be scared of the stupid PlayStation logo thing whenever I turn on the PlayStation 1. So yeah. Okay. Now that I'm talking about things that I've about my past, I'm going to talk about some dumb elementary school stories. Okay? Here we go. Alright. Well, when I was in elementary school, I was a huge crybaby. I used to cry about the most stupidest things. Like, I was very sensitive. Like, I remember this one day when we were playing kickball outside. I think I struck out or something, and then all the kids were like, "You struck out, get out of here." And because of the kids, saying, "You struck out, haha," I cried. That made me sad. I used to cry a lot when I struck out or lose in a game. But right now I don't care. I don't care if I lose.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I remember this one day in second grade. This kid used to bother me a lot. I don't know. I just got on the floor and had a little tantrum, and then cried my eyes out just because this kid was just bothering me so much. And the same kid, he taught me the middle finger. It's so weird. Yeah, second grade was a pretty dramatic grade. It was a pretty dramatic year for me. Yeah. I'll talk about some of the dramatic stuff that happened on second grade. It was the first and only time I got yelled at by a teacher. I remember Mr. Reagan. He was a pretty young looking teacher too. He was probably in his 30s when he was teaching me. But yeah, he yelled at me just because I was saying out loud how much my life sucks and how much I hated myself. But he's like, "Jeff, shut up." I don't think he said shut up, but he said, "Be quiet. You're not stupid. You're not ugly," in front of everybody. So that embarrassed me. And good on him, because I don't know what was wrong with me. But I needed that yelling. Okay. Another dramatic thing that happened to me when I was in second grade is that one day, I remember it was late October. One day I just felt sick or something like that, and I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought I was gonna die or something. I remember it was snowing outside, and I drew a little tombstone on the stone. Excuse me. I drew a little tombstone on the snow, saying that, "Oh, I'm gonna die. I might as well lay here." But it turns out it was during recess. But then as soon as we got back inside, I still didn't feel good. My stomach just hurt, and then I just ran up to a trash can and I threw up in front of the whole class. So yeah, and that kind of changed my life, that throwing up thing, because I threw up in front of the class. I was afraid that might happen again. So that kind of started my whole eating disorder, where I was afraid to eat because I didn't want to throw up again. But there was something wrong with me. I had a little stomach flu or something. But yeah, I guess that's the reason why I'm so skinny, is because I was so afraid to eat and very, very picky on what I ate. So yeah, that's a little eating disorder, as I should say. And it lasted all the way up when I was maybe 13 or 14. I was a teenager. I was hungry, so I had to eat some stuff so I can grow. And because of my eating disorder, it went very bad. It was so bad that I was afraid to swallow my own saliva, because I was afraid of gagging or throwing up. So I remembered my mouth was just full of saliva, not speaking, and my teacher was talking to me, and I couldn't answer because I had saliva in my mouth. So it was either spit it out or swallow. And luckily, there was a trash can in front of me, so I was thinking about spitting. So I spat right in front of him into the trash can and said, and just responded to his question. So that's stupid. And because of that, I used to be very paranoid on what I had. You know, it's like, oh man, I feel very sweaty. I must be getting sick. Can I go to the nurse? And because of that, I used to worry a lot, you know, when I get sick. So I go down to the nurse and just call my mom and say, "Hey, I'm sick. Can you take me home?" And then that kind of got into a little habit. Sometimes I would go to the nurse's office just for the littlest thing, you know, just so I can get out of class, you know, and just fake it so I can go home. But yeah, it was because of that day. I don't know. That day was a huge turning point in my life when I threw up in front of the class. Oh boy. But I'm better now. I can eat a lot of stuff and don't care one bit. Okay. Sled incident. Oh boy. Gosh, this little thing. A long time ago, when I was in elementary school, I guess this happened when I was in 3rd grade. There was this hill out in our recess area, and when it was covered in snow, we used to use that hill to sled down. But one day we thought it was a good idea to use to use everybody on one sled, like a whole bunch of boys on one sled. So I was there, but I was on the very bottom. But for some reason, my head was out of the sled and facing down at the ground. So as soon as when we were getting down, my forehead was scraping across the snow, the hard snow. So that left a huge scab on my forehead. So that was terrible. I remember it. I cried when that happened. Oh. Actually, I'll get to that. No. I'll get to that now. That's actually next. Dumb duties. Duties were these adults that looked after the kids. You know, they were supervisors, I should say. But yeah, to make sure the kids weren't roughhousing or anything like that. But one day it was during winter. I was on the swings. I loved being on the swings. I was going back and forth, and I attempted to jump off the swings. So I let go of the chains and tucked my arms in, but I fell backwards. When the swing was going back, I actually fell, and then hit my stomach on this hard block of ice. So that knocked the wind out of me. So I was hurting, and I was crying towards the duties. You know, these were adult women, and I was saying, "Hey, help me, help me!" And they were just talking to each other, ignoring me. So it's kind of funny that I think about it now, but I don't know. One day I got to do that to one of my characters. I got to put that on Jeff and Taylor, you know. Put it in a quickie. I have to do it. I have to put that in a quickie or something. Have Jeff or Taylor, you know, hurting themselves, and then they need help, and then the duties just ignore them. Oh, good times. Actually, bad times. Excuse me. Bad times. Really bad times. You know, I had a really short temper when I was a kid, though. Believe it or not, I used to be very mean when I was a kid. Very mean, and you know, I was very stupid when I was a kid. I remember on my 6th birthday, I just threw a little temper tantrum. Just threw chairs around a little bit. I didn't hurt anybody. I don't know. I just yelled at everybody because they were singing me the birthday song. I hated the birthday song, so I yelled at them to stop singing. So, yeah, I had a very short temper. I was a very angry and obnoxious kid. I mean, I'm a very mellow dude right now, but you know, I don't know what happened. Discipline? I think so. But there are some good memories in elementary school. Like I had my first best friend in 1st grade, Rory. I mean, yeah, that lasted throughout all of elementary school. And then we kind of split up during middle school, you know. What else happened? Well, recess itself is a very good memory. All my crushes that I had on girls, those were good memories. What else? I remember at the end of the year, we would have this very long recess thing, like a 3-hour recess or something like that. Yeah, that was awesome. Okay, the last thing on my list. The very last thing. The sing-along. Oh my god. The sing-along. How do I explain this one? This is a very crazy story. Okay. When I was a kid in elementary school, I had a very big, elaborate imagination. I mean, this imagination would help me with my comics now, but they were very crazy and out there when I was a kid. One day I thought, hey, I want to have a little sing-along or musical just like in the movies. I want everybody to join me when I sing. So, I wanted to sing that one song from the Aladdin movie, Return of Jafar. It's the Aladdin sequel. It was Iago's song. I think it was called I'm Looking Out For Me or something like that. So I recorded it on my little tape recorder, and so I brought it to recess. I played it. Iago's song is singing with in my little Walkman, I guess, a little Fisher Price Walkman or something like that, tape player. And then I don't know if I was lip syncing or singing aloud. But I grabbed random kids to sing along with me, and they were like, "What are you doing? Let go of me!" So that failed. God, I can't believe I did that. Just pulled in random kids to sing along with me during recess. I just wanted a little musical. A little singing number just like in the movies. That's all I wanted, but stupid real life, I hate real life sometimes. It's reality. Bye. Oh wait, that's not goodbye. But I'm going to end the podcast now. Okay, guys. Well, the last thing I want to say is that you can follow me on the Tumblrs. Yeah, the Tumblrs. Or Tumblr, as the mainstream will say. Yes, I have a Tumblr now. I actually had it for a very long time. I just didn't tell anybody. But yeah, I just post my artwork and some crazy stuff. I reblog some stuff there too that I like. And yeah, it's in the image you see now. You can, if you have a Tumblr, you can find me by my my little profile pic. It's my purple portrait with me wearing the stupid sunglasses. Yeah. So you can find that. What else? Yeah. I'm working on episode 9, so that should be out soon, I hope. I want to get this series done before 2021 or something like that. I don't know. But yeah. And I also like to thank Jade for being such a good sport in the vlog and everything, and for being a good friend. Actually, for being my best friend. She's my best friend / psychiatrist because I like to tell her my problems and all that. In fact, she's the number one person I go when I have a problem, for advice and all that. Because I can't tell my parents because they'll be like, "Oh, suck it up." No, that's not the treatment I need. I need someone to listen to me. Okay, well, see you guys later with a new video and a new podcast sometime in September. I know. Forgot to mention, September 14th will be my birthday. I'm just laying it out there. I will make a video about my birthday soon. I'll release it on my birthday. I'll be talking about some horoscope stuff. So yeah, that's it. So, see you guys later. This is the official goodbye now. So, I'll see you. Goodbye. Sorry I had to do that.